Hi, it's Steve Priske again. Working on the HMS Snake model ship, and now I'm working on all the crew members. This particular ship model is going to be populated with crew members in 1/64th scale. So I'm now creating the, well, this is the officers for it right here. Here's the captain of the ship, and the first officer, and then the second officer, and also a cabin boy. I'm making these figures, of course, from lead cast figurines in the appropriate scale. But what I'm doing is I'm super detailing them by adding a bunch of little features. In this case, the hats that you see used by the various British officers, whether it's the captain's hat that goes perpendicular to the body or vertical hats like this. I'm going to be describing in a series of video clips here how I'm doing this, but I thought I'd show you the book that I'm using as a reference because it's pretty cool. It's called Cross Sections, Man of War by Stephen Beastie, and it's specifically cross sections of British ships of war from the 17 and the 1800s. And in this case, I'm utilizing the figures of the crew members as my reference, as my guide for making these figurines right here, for painting them as well as detailing them with the accoutrements such as the swords, the various belts and buckles, and I'll describe this in some more of the video clips that I'll be doing.
Now, in addition to the book on cross-sections by Stephen Beastie that I pointed out, I also use as a reference my favorite movie on tall ships of this era, the 17s and 1800s, and that's a movie called Damn the Defiant. It stars Alec Guinness, also known as Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course, from Star Wars. But this movie is terrific in that it was filmed on board an actual British ship, recreation of the ships used in the 1800s, and you get a really good look at what the uniforms were like, as well as the officers and the crew members. Just as good a movie as Master and Commander or any of the other movies that you've seen. This one here is a tremendous reference, and I recommend it to anybody's library.
Now, to get the effect of the hats on these officers, I found a pretty cool little trick, which is using the cardboard from the packages that these little figures actually came in, the marker card, which is about the same as a matchbook cover thickness. And I fold that over and wrap it around the head of the figurine that I'm going to use it on, and of course make it very large, because I'm going to use my Dremel tool and shape it down so that it has the appropriate necessary shape. Now, the cool thing about this is that because this is a paper or fiber board that I'm folding over, once you hit it with the Dremel tool, it actually brings up a little fuzz, which of course you'd see on the real hats, because the real hats are made from beaver skins, mostly from beaver skins taken from the Pacific Northwest and brought back to England and Europe. So that's my little trick for making that hats on these guys. And of course, if you screw it up, it's easy to replace it with another piece of cardboard and try again. Alright, now we can see the completed, at least roughed out, completed hat on one of the junior officers. It's going to eventually look like that once it's painted, and I'm going to do a little more fine shaping with some sandpaper and a little fingernail file, but most of this was accomplished with, you know, a rotary tool. And like I said earlier, you start off with a nice large piece of folded over thin cardboard, draw the lines that you want to carve out, and then hopefully end up with a product like that. Now, you can obviously easily fix this if you get it wrong. Very easy to just sand off the whole thing and put a new one on there and start all over again to get it right. After the hat's done, then a little belt will be put on, and then paint the final details, and she'll be ready for the ship. So here you can see how I've added the little fine striping, the drafting tape, pin striping if you will, that I spray painted white on the outside, but the edges of it are still black, so that it really replicates what the real webbing looked like. And the Marines on board these HMS ships always had a Marine commandant or two, so that's the officer Marine right there. And I found matched that up to the reference in this book of cross sections. And then the regular Marines, of course, are depicted throughout this book and many other places, so we can see the hats and the webbing and so on, and the boots that they wore.
Alright, so thanks for checking in on the progress of the HMS Snake ship model. The next time that you get to see the crew members, you'll see them all about the deck and on the rig and in the rigging of the ship. Don't forget my tip about the movie called Damn the Defiant. I think it's one of the best references that you'll find on the subject of tall ships from the 1700s and 1800s. And to see still photographs of my building of this model, be sure to visit my website, tallshipsofsanfrancisco.com, and click on the ship model link on the home page. Bye-bye.